Welcome back to another revision video. Today our focus is on our year 10s. So grab a pen, pencil and paper, and together let's prepare to smash those mock exams. Before we begin, I would just like to say how happy and proud I am of those of you who have made a comment in the comment section to tell me how useful these videos have been, and also, as a result, how well you've done in your recent exams. Well done! And special mention to Zoobs the Ace. You have been so active in the comment section. Absolutely brilliant. Now, remember, you can find a link to the worksheet of the questions covered in this video in the description of the video. I would encourage you to print it off and work along with me so you can be better able to cement the concepts dealt with in this revision. Now, with that being said, let's jump into this revision. We begin with multiplication facts. Here is a calculation. 31 multiplied by 84 is equal to 2,604. Use the calculation to answer these questions. Part A. Work out 2,604 divided by 84. Now, notice clearly the question says use the calculation. This means we do not expect you to be working this out on your paper. Now, if 31 multiplied by 84 is 2,604, then we can reason that if we do 2,604 divided by 84, the answer has to be 31, since when they are multiplied together, we get the product 2604. Very simple, easy, 1 mark there. Part B asks us to work out 3.1 multiplied by 8.4. Now, all we need to do here is to recognize that 3.1 has 1 dp, 1 decimal place, and 8.4 has 1 decimal place. Therefore, the answer will have 2 decimal places altogether. So all we need to do is to look back at the fact, and we're going to put 2 decimal places into 2,604. So therefore, the answer will be 26.04. And just like that. Now we go to the next question. The next question says we are to do 31 multiplied by 85. Very important here to note that in the calculation we were given, we had 31 times 84, which means that we had 84 lots of 31. Now, what has changed in part C is that we've got 85 lots of 31. So all we need to do is to write down the original that we had for 84 lots of 31, and then simply add another 1 lot of 31. And that will bring us up to 85. So let's just add this together here. 4 plus 1 is 5. And then 0 plus 3 is 3. We also have 6 here and 2, nothing added. So the answer is 2,635. And that's how we use our multiplication facts. Beautiful. So now we go on to our next question. And that question is on inequalities. We are asked here to write down all the integers, so let's underline that, all the integers that satisfy the inequality. Now we look here and we read. We're told that x is greater than are exactly equal to minus 3, but x has to be less than 2. Remember, the open mouth always turns to the greater number. So we see a line under the one closest to minus 3. This tells us that minus 3 is a part of the solution. So we go ahead, we write minus 3. So we've got minus 2, minus 1, 0, and 1. We check there is no line under the one closest to 2, which means 2 is not a part of the solution. So those are the only integers that's satisfied by this. The next question says, work out all the integers that satisfy the inequality. Now, if we notice here, we've got 2n is greater than 8, but less than or exactly equal to 16. Now, if you notice, unlike the first question where we had just x on its own, in this one we have 2n. We cannot have a coefficient before the variable. So what we need to do here is to divide all of the equation by 2. So I'm just going to rewrite that. 8, 2n, and 16. So I need to divide 8 by 2, 2n by 2, 16 by 2. So my new inequality will be 4. I've got in the middle 2n divided by 2 is just n. And then 16 divided by 2 is 8. Now I'm able to write down all the values that satisfy this inequality. So we go ahead. N has to be greater than 4. There is no line under, so we start with 5. We go 6, 7, and 8 is also included because there is a line under. So the values are 5, 6, 7, and 8. 2 marks. Beautiful. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. Also on inequalities, but this time we're given a number line and we're asked to identify what equation, what inequality is satisfied by this number line. So circle the inequality represented by the diagram. Now a very good practice is to do it on our own and then look if we find the answer. Now remember, we know our two boundaries are minus 5 and 1. So let's start by writing that. So minus 5 and 1. We know x will be in the middle, so we put that there. The next step is to pay attention to the circles. Remember, an unshaded circle means the value is not included, and a solid circle means the value is included. So therefore, I look and I can see that from minus 5 I'm getting greater. So x is greater than minus 5. Open mouth turns to x. Now if I go to positive 1, I can see following the arrow we're getting smaller. But 1 is also a part of the solution. So therefore x is less than or exactly equal to 1. So we know first option is not a contention at all because there is no line under any one of the signs. The second one, we can look and we can see it is identical to what we have written down. So the second one is our option. Beautiful. Now we go on to where we are now asked to solve an inequality, and as you can see here, there is a variable on both sides. So solve 5x add 6 is greater than 3x add 15. So I'm going to rewrite. So 5x add 6 is greater than 3x add 15. Now, first step I recognize here is that I'm going to need to collect my like terms. So 5x is greater than 3x, so I'm going to take the 3x to this side And I'm going to take my positive 6x to the other side so that my variables are together and my numbers are also together. So remember, when I change sides, I change signs. So this positive 3x is now going to be minus 3x greater than. I'm left now here with 15. And then this positive 6, when carried to the other side, will be subtracted. So remember, positive, so we're subtracting 6 from both sides, which result in what we've got here. Now we just need to simplify. So 5x take away 3x is 2x is greater than 15 take away 6 is 9. Last step, I need to get x on its own. So I need to divide by the coefficient on both sides, and the coefficient is 2. So this side will leave us with just x is greater than half 9 is 4.5. And then I just need to put my answer on the answer line. So x then will be greater than 4.5. And that is 3 marks. Absolutely brilliant. Now, I just want to pause to say, you need more practice on inequalities. I do have a complete lesson on inequalities on the channel, so you just need to go ahead and find that lesson and ensure that you're good at this. This is always coming up on non-calculator paper, so we've got to make sure that we can do any question that is given to us. Beautiful. Okay, so we move on to multiplying decimals. So we're asked here to work out 0.37 multiplied by 0.26 and give your answer as a decimal. 4 marks. So I'm going to rewrite as I always do. I've got 0.37. I need to recognize here that this has 2 decimal places. So 1, 2. My other number, 0.26, also has 2 decimal places. This means that my answer will have 2 add 2 is 4 decimal places. So that's how I know if I'm finished. I check and make sure my answer has 4. From before I start the question, I know what my answer should look like. Now, because I know it's going to have 4 decimal places, if I just go ahead and multiply 37 times by 26, all I have to do at the end is to divide by, so 4 decimal places indicates that I'm going to be dividing by 1, 2, 3, 4, so by 10,000. So when I go ahead and multiply the whole numbers together, I will then divide the answer by 10,000, and now that would be my answer with my 4 decimal places. So let's go ahead and do our column method multiplication. So we need to do 6 times 7, which is 42. So 2, and we bring 4 to the other column. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. We then need to put a placeholder. Then we take our 2 and multiply. So 2 times 7 is 14. I need to take 1 to this column here. 2 times 3 is 6. Add the 1 is 7. All we need to do now is to just add them together. So 2 add 0 is 2. 4 add 2 is 6. And 7 add 2 is 9. So remember, this is not our simplified answer. We now need to divide this. I'm going to write 962 divided by 10,000. So we start from the back of our number. We need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. My decimal point will be here. So I will have 0.0. So I just write it there just for clarity. So my final answer is 0.0962. I check. Do I have 4 DPs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. And just like that, you would have scored that 4 marks. Brilliant. So let's go ahead and go to our next question. So our next question is about plotting coordinates and also connecting this with area. So we're told here is a centimeter grid. We look and we observe our grid, we observe our scale as well. We can see here on both x and y axes, the grid is going up in increments of 1. So A, we're told, is 5, 3, B is 5 minus 3, and C is minus 5, 0 are 3 points. So what we want to do is to plot these 3 points and make a triangle, and it asks us here what type of triangle is ABC. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plot our coordinates. So we've got A to be 5, 3. Remember, we always locate our x coordinate first. So the 5 is x and the 3 is y. So I need to go to 5 on the x-axis followed by 3 on y. I'm going to label that A. So we've done our first point. We check that off. Now we've got B to be 5 and minus 3. So we go to 5 on x and minus 3 is here and we label that B. We check that off. We now need to do minus 5, 0. This means that whenever we go on minus 5 on x, we do not move. So that one is dead on to the x-axis, and I label my points. What I need to do now is to take my ruler and I need to connect them to complete my triangle. So I've just pre-put my lines in just so that my work is a bit more neatly done. Amazing. So that is our triangle. Now we need to answer the question. The question asks us, what type of triangle is ABC? So we can see here that AC and BC are the same length. That means they are equal. Remember, when we have two sides of a triangle being equal and the other side clearly AB is not the same length, then this is an isosceles triangle. So we write that on our answer line. So it is an isosceles triangle. Beautiful. Now we've got an extension question. The extension question asks us to calculate the area of triangle ABC. So first thing I need to be thinking about here is the formula for the area of a triangle. So area of triangle is equal to the base multiplied by the height divided by 2. So because we've done this on a centimeter grid, we just need to count the numbers of squares for the base and also for the height. So let's start with our base. Our base is AB. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to substitute that here. The base is 6 times by the height. From here we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the height is 10. Then we need to just simplify this. We know that it's a centimeter grid, so our answer is going to be in centimeters squared. Beautiful. So 6 times 10 is 60, and then we need to half that, which is 30. And our unit is now going to be centimeter squared. So remember, we get centimeter squared because 6 centimeters here times 10 centimeters. 6 times 10 is 60. Centimeter times centimeter is centimeters squared. And then half that answer. Now, what if we had been given 2 other triangles other than this one? Remember, we also have our equilateral triangle, which means, so the prefix equi means equal, and lateral means distance. So this means that this triangle would have all 3 sides being equal distance. So equilateral triangle has all 3 sides and angles equal. So therefore, we would show that on, if it was on the diagram, that's all we would know. Or Also, the next triangle that it could be is a scalene. Remember, a scalene triangle has no sides or angles equal. So they're all of 3 different lengths. So for example, if I put 1 line here, I'll put 2 here and 3 here to show that no sides or no angles are equal at all. Beautiful. So we go on. But before I go on, have you remembered to share this video yet? Come on, we need to make sure that all students doing the Year 10 Foundation paper know about this. So how about you just sharing this with your friends? Please make sure that you do that. Now that I've got that bit out the way, let's carry on. Now we move on to properties of triangles. So we're told here that one of the angles in a triangle is 60 degrees. And remember, we've just do a little revision on triangles. So beautiful. So the triangle, it says tick a box for each statement. So we go one at a time. Our options are must be true, cannot be true, might be true. The triangle is equilateral. So if the triangle, we've got one angle being 60 degrees, I reason, what is the size of the angles in an equilateral triangle? Now for this one, since the angles in a triangle add to 180, and there are 3, 180 divided by 3 is 60. So that means this might be true. We're not sure because we're not given the other 2. However, we know it possibly could be an equilateral triangle. So we put a tick beside might be true. We then go on to observe the other statement. It says the triangle has at least one other acute angle. So first of all, I'm thinking acute. An acute angle has to be less than 90 degrees, but it must be greater than 0. So will it have another at least, so that means one or more other acute angle? Then we know that this has to be true, so it must be true. Now, the other statement says the triangle is right angled. Can the triangle be right angled? So let's check. I'm going to put a triangle here. I'm going to put the 60 that I was given. Is it possible that this will be 90? Will the other 2 angles add to 90 as well? Yes, so it could be true. So we can say might be true for that one as well. Now we've got the other 2 angles are each less than 60 degrees. So let's see. Let's just notice I haven't just make a judgment here. I've proven my answers. So if I have 60 here, what if this was 40? And what if this was 30? Could that be a triangle? Because this does not add to 180. So that one cannot be true at all. This is how you navigate questions like these. Do not just go ahead and notice I've reasoned, I've done a little working out, I've visualized, and that's what I want to see you do. And you would agree this is a 4 marks that's easy to score. Great. So we move on to the next question. This time we move away from triangles and we're looking at quadrilaterals. Now we know that quad indicates 4 and lateral means measure. Therefore, all the shapes that we're talking about now all have 4 sides and 4 angles. This is how I want you to be thinking. So we go and we read the question. The question says, here are 6 quadrilaterals. Part A asks us to write down, just give me 1 second, to write down the names of the 3. The word the here tells us that there's no other shapes apart from only 3 that will fit the criteria for this question. It says, write down the names of the 3 quadrilateral that have diagonals crossing at right angles. So diagonals crossing at right angles. Similarly to what I've done in the question before, we're going to take one shape at a time and observe what goes on here. Now, the first shape is our square. We know what's unique about this. It's a regular polygon with all 4 sides being the same. So if all the sides are the same, it means that if I put a diagonal from the corners and all sides are the same, the diagonals will intersect at a right angle since both of them are equal. So before I do anything else with any other shape, I know for a fact that the square is one of these 3. I go ahead and I write that on the answer line. Okay, uniquely we know also that the square has 4 right angles. Very important to know our properties, and I'm putting the lines on to show that these are all equal. Now we go and we observe the rectangle. Now I am reasoning, if the square has all sides equal, which makes the diagonals meet at right angle, I'm thinking the rectangle doesn't have all sides equal. Therefore, when I put the diagonals in, they're not going to meet because it's totally opposite from what I just discussed. But it also has 4 right angles. But this time it's the opposite sides that are equal. Okay, so this one, not an option. I then go over to the parallelogram. Again, I know in a parallelogram, the parallel sides, the opposite sides are parallel and equal. Same principle apply for the rectangle as the parallelogram. The diagonals, when I put them in, because the sides of the parallelogram are not equal, they will not meet at right angles. However, the opposite angles in the parallelogram are equal. So these 2, I've put double line for the equal ones here and single for the other ones. Those 2 are the same, but not fitting the criteria. Now I'm going to put the angle in, the diagonals in for this one. Clearly, I can see that it is going to meet. So the kite is another option. So we tick that off, put a tick beside the square. We go for the rhombus. Rhombus has all sides equal as well. And what does that tell us? Same criteria like the square. So clearly, it is also going to meet at right angles. So the rhombus is the other option. Beautiful. We then go on to part B of this question. 3 quadrilaterals are square, rectangles, and parallelogram. The parallelogram could be the odd one out. Give a reason why. So the square, the rectangle, and the parallelogram. We notice here that the parallelogram does not have right angles, but the square and the rectangle does. So one reason you could have given is that the parallelogram has no right angles. So that's one thing you could have said. They ask you for one reason, but let me just open your mind to another reason. Now, the other reason is here, so let's tick that one off. So it has no right angles. The other one has to do with line of symmetry. Now, if we cut the square along here and across, that's a line of symmetry. They will fit over each other. Rectangle also has 2. Square has 2 more. We could do that one, and we could also do that one. The rectangle only has 2, but the parallelogram, doesn't matter how you cut it, it will not fit over itself. So another reason you could have said parallelogram has no line of symmetry. Beautiful. And there you have it. We have explored triangles and their properties, and also quadrilaterals and their properties. Absolutely brilliant. Liking this video will help this channel to grow. So please go ahead and give this video a like. We continue with time. In this question, we're asked to work out the difference, so I'm underlining difference, in minutes. Minutes is very important. Between 55 minutes and 1 3/4 hours. So first thing we need to know here, that in mathematics, when we talk about difference, we are doing subtraction. So we need to work out the difference in minutes between 55 minutes and 1 3/4 hours. Our 55 minutes is already in minutes, so that's okay. But we need to write our 1 3/4 hours in minutes as well. So 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, and 3/4 of an hour is 45 minutes. We then need to add that together. So adding them up, I get 5, and 6 plus 4 is 10. Now that I've got that in minutes, so I now need to subtract them. So it is 105, and I'm subtracting 55. Just make sure you line up your numbers properly. So I can 5 take away 5 is 0, and then I'm taking 5 from 10, which is 5. So the answer is 50 minutes. We go on to the next question that asks us to work out the difference. So again, we're subtracting in minutes between 2 hours 25 minutes and 1 1/2 hour. So clearly we need to convert them. So first of all, 2 hour is equal to 120 minutes, and then we need to add that to the 25. So in minutes altogether, 5 plus 0 is 5, 2 plus 2 is 4, and then we've got 1, so that's 145. We then need to convert 1 1/2 hours to minutes as well. So 1 hour is 60 minutes, and then a half hour is 30. So half hour is 30. Adding them together, we get 90 minutes. So we need to now subtract them. So 145 take away 90. So we're subtracting 0 from 5, which is 5, and then 14 take away 9 is also 5. So the answer then is 55 minutes. Very simple questions there on time. Beautiful. So we move on to the next question, which is on percentages. So here are some calculators in the books. 220 are scientific, underline, and 30 are not. What percentage of the calculators are scientific? So we're focused on the scientific one. However, in order to find the percentage of the total, the first step we need to do is to add the two numbers together. So we need to get the total for all calculators. So we're going to do 220 add 30. If you notice here, all my additions I'm doing, I use the column method. I'm not just relying on my mental math. This is a non-calculator paper. That means I need to be dead on accurate since I have zero support of the calculator. So we go ahead and we add these together. I get 250. That's my total. Now I need to find out what percentage of 250 is 220. So I do 220 out of 250, and percentages out of 100, so I now need to multiply this by 100. Now my division skills are very critical here. Now first of all, I can make this simpler by cancelling off zeros here. So by dividing by 10, I will get 22 25ths. Now I can also go ahead and see how many 25s are in 100. So 25 into itself goes once, and there are 4 lots of 25. Now it's easy to see. I'm just doing 22 times by 4. So 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 2 is 8. So the answer is 88%. Beautiful. So you take your time. Now you notice that simplifying first is so much easier than multiplying 220 by 100 and then try to divide that by 250. No, look for opportunities to simplify first. We go on to our next question, which is on fractions. So we're told here that Harry has 50 sweets, underline. So I'm going to write the name Harry here. I'm picking my numbers from the words. So Harry equal to 50 sweets. Next, I'm told that he gives 2/5 of the sweets to Sandra. So I'm going to write Sandra will be 2/5 of what Harry has, so 2/5 of 50. I'm not doing my calculation yet, I'm just picking out and setting myself up. Now, I'm told he gives 3/10 of the sweets to Jamie. So I'm going to write Jamie. I know Jamie has 3/10 of the 50, and remember, off in mathematics indicates multiplication. I can work those out later. Now I go on to see what is the question asking me to do. Now Harry keeps the rest of the sweets for himself. Work out how many sweets Harry keeps. Now I need to go back to my calculation and find out how many did Sandra get, how many did Jamie get. And when I find that out, I will subtract those two totals from the total he had before. So let's go. We're going to simplify 2/5 of 50. Again, beautiful opportunity to use my multiplication skills. I recognize here that 5 can go into itself once, and 5 into 50 goes 10. 2 times 10 is 20. So Sandra has 20 sweets. I go for the next one. I see here that I can divide 10 into itself goes once, and into 50 goes 5. 3 times 5 is 15. So Jamie has 15 sweets. So what I need to do now is to add the 20 and the 15 together and then subtract it from 50. So let's just add these two here. So 0 plus 5 is 5, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 35 altogether. So Harry is equal to 50, take away that 35. So we go ahead and we take 1 from 5 here. So 10 take away 5 is 5, and 4 take away 3 is 1. So Harry has, let's end intelligently, 15 sweets. Beautiful. So that clear logical steps. Now on we go. We move on now to proportional reasoning. We're given a table here, and in the table we see that apples cost 25p each. Oranges cost 60p each. Salma has £10 to buy apples and oranges. She buys 9 apples and as many oranges as possible. Clearly, that's going to be with the change that she's got from £10. How many oranges does she buy? Clear. Now, the first thing we need to do is to find out what is the total for the apples that she bought. So we're going to find out apples will be equal to, it's 25p each. So let's just go ahead and do 25 times 9, and then we can put it back into pounds. So 25 multiplied by 9. 5 times 9 is 45, so I put my 5 here and I bring my 4 to the tens place. 9 times 2 is 18, and 18 times 4 is 22. So that's 225 pence. Now I'm going to convert this back to pounds, so that will be equal to £2.25. Remember, we can just divide by 100 to get it back into pounds. So we move 1, 2, and that's how we get our £2.25. What I need to do now is to subtract this from the £10 to find out what's left. So we're going to write the change is equal to £10. So put your 10, put 2 zeros to represent placeholders here, then £2.25. We're going to subtract that, and now we'll see how much she has left and how many oranges she can buy from that. So we have to go all the way here. We need to take 1, bring 1 here, and we need to have 9 left, and we bring 1 over to the units column. So 10 take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 2 is 7, And then 9 take away 2 is also 7. So now she has £7.75 to spend to buy oranges. Now I look back at the cost for one orange. So it's 60p. So I need to find out how many 60p's are in 7.75 or £7.75. So we need to do 7.75 divided by 60p, which we are going to just write as 60 here. Now, if I convert, I want to divide, so I'm going to put it at 0.06 just to make it 60p. Now, what I need to do, the easiest way to do a division is when my divisor is a whole number. So I can see here, if I multiply this side by 10, 0.6 times 10 is just going to be 6. So this side is 6, and I also need to multiply this side by 10. So this will now be 77.5. So I'm going to use the bus stop method to do this division. So I'm going to put my 6 on the outside, and then I'm going to put 7.5. So let's do our division. So 6 into 7 goes once, and the remainder is 1. Now I need to do 6 into 17. Now, if I do 6 times 3, I realize that's 18. That's too high. So I have to go down to 2. So 6 times 2 is 12. So I've got 6 times 2, 12. 12 take away from 17 leaves me with 5. So I put my 5 here. I put my decimal point. Now I need to do 6 into 55. So we need the closest number on the 6 times table that's close to 55. So 6 times 9 is 54. And then I will have one remainder left. I can add a 0 here. 6 into 10 goes once. Now I don't need to carry on any further because I can see here I have 12.91. I cannot buy 12.91 of an orange. Therefore, we just have to round this off to 12. We can only buy 12. So it's going to be approximately 12 oranges that he can buy. So let's talk back through that very quickly. We found out the total for the apples by doing 25 times 9. Converting that to pounds, we got £2.25. We then need to subtract that from the total of £10, which left us with £7.75. So now we need to find out how many 60p's are in £7.75. I multiply my 0.6 for 60p by 10, so I can get that to a whole number, which is 6. I also need to multiply the other side by 10. Now I've got them 77.5 divided by 6, and that's approximately 7 whole oranges. 12 whole oranges I can buy. If you have to go back through that question, then of course you know you are free to do so. Now we move on from there. We're going on to best buys. So, 2 websites sell the same type of radio. Website A, the cost of the radio is $79.99. Website B, the cost of the radio is $76.76, but they also have a cost for the postage. So website A, the postage is £3.49, and website B is £6.79. Sunil is going to buy a radio from one of the websites. He also has to pay for postage. Which website is cheaper and by how much? For 3 marks. So first of all, what we need to do here, we need to find the total cost for each website, meaning the cost for the radio and also the cost for the postage. So we go ahead and we do website A. So website A, The total for that will be £7.79.99, and we're adding to that £3.49. It is very important we line up our decimals properly for accuracy. So let's go ahead and find this total. So 9 plus 9 here is 18. Put my 8 and bring my 1. 9 plus 1 is 10 plus 4 is 14. Bring my 1 to the other side. 9 plus 1 is 10 plus 3 is 13. And then I put my 1 here, so 7 plus 1 is 8. So the total here is £83.48. I now need to find this out also for website B. So let's write website B here. Website B. So the cost for at website B for the radio is $76.76, and then the cost for postage is $6.79. We just need to add those together and then compare them. So 9 plus 6 is 15. So I put my 5 and I bring my 1. 7 plus 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. Bring my 1 to the other side. 6 plus 6 is 12 plus 1 gives me 13, and then 7 plus 1 is 8. So I compare. I've got £83.48 for website A and £83.55 for website B. So clearly I can see website A is cheaper, so I put that there. But the question also asked me by how much. Therefore, I need to subtract the two totals. So I'm going to do £83.55, that's the largest one, and then £83.48, and then see how much. So I have to take 1 from here. So 15 take away 8 is 7, and then 4 take away 4 is 0, and I've got zeros here. So clearly I've got 0.7, which indicates 7 pence. We can just put that as 7p. So it's 7p cheaper, but we still save some money. Awesome. Okay, so we're moving on to the next question. And this question is also on proportional reasoning. This one comes home to us. It's about a family. So the table shows information about packs of juice a family has. Very hot time in the summer here. We'll need to drink a lot, guys, to keep hydrated. So yes, this question is so relevant. So the number of packs is 5, but the number of cartons in the pack is 8. Next, if it has 16 in number of packs, then the carton will be 3. Numbers of carton in the pack is 3. The family drinks 4 cartons a day. I told you it was a time that's very hot. Now, in total, how many days, so we are looking for the days, will their packs last? So first of all, we need to find out how many single packs we've got in each set. So number 5, and in each of those 5 is 8, so we need to multiply 5 times by 8. So 5 times 8 for the first one is 40. So there will be 40 juices in that one. And then we've got 16 times by 3. So we need to do 16 times by 3. For that one, I would suggest we just set that up in column method. So we're going to do 16 times by 3. I know the answer, but I don't want you to take the risk. So you don't believe I know the answer. It's 48. Let's prove. So 6 times 3 is 18. I put the 8 there and I bring 1 to the other side. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. See, I told you I know the answer. So then I've got 48. So I just need to add them together to find the total. So this will be 88. Now it says the family drinks 4 cartons a day. So I want to find out how many days with the loss. I now need to do 88 divided by 4. So I'm going to set it up for you in column method again. And then I've got 4 into 8 goes twice and 4 into 8 goes twice. So the answer is 22 days. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, guys. And we move along. So we're moving on now to Venn diagrams. And I'm going to ask a question, and I want you to type in the comment section the answer to the question if you remember. What is the name of the man who invented the Venn diagrams? Let me say it again. What's the name of the man who invented, the mathematician who invented the Venn diagrams? Put the answer in the comment section and let's see if you remember. Okay, so let's go on to the question now. A school year has 78 students. Let's underline that. 28 wear glasses. So I'm just going to put here as I read, glasses equal 28. Now, a quarter of the students who wear glasses are left-handed. So left-handed will be equal to a quarter times 28. I'm taking my numbers out of the words. I will go back and work it out later. Now, 30% of the students who do not wear glasses are left-handed. So we underline that 30% of the students who do not wear glasses are left-handed. I'll go back to deal with that in a minute. Now, the universal set indicated by this squiggly little e is the students in the year group, which we know is 78 total. Then we've got glasses, then we've got left-handed, and we also have an intersection of people who wear glasses and people who are left-handed. We're asked here to complete the Venn diagram for 3 marks. So, having written out all the things we've done, now we're going to read the question and answer them a step at a time. First part, we know the total in the year is 78, but 28 wears glasses. So a quarter of those 28 students who wear glasses are left-handed. So first step is to find out what is a quarter of 28. So we're going to do 28 divided by 4. Remember, a quarter of a number is found by dividing that number by 4. So let's go. So 28 divided by 4 is 7. So we know that 7 belongs in the intersection because a quarter of those who wear glasses are also left-handed. Now we can find out the rest of the students who wear glasses but are not left-handed by subtracting the 7 from the intersection from the total glasses wearers, which is 28. So 28 take away 7. 7 from 8 is 1 and nothing from 2 is 2. So therefore we get 21. Now I can check here to make sure this is true because all the people who wear glasses is 28. So 21 plus 7 is 28. So I know these two are correct. Beautiful. We carry on reading. Now I'm just going to tick this off and finish dealing with that one. Now we go on. 30% of the students who do not wear glasses are left-handed. So we know the total, so no glasses will be equal to the total students from the school, which is 78. Take away those who wear glasses, which is 28. So 8 take away 8 is 0, and 7 take away 2 is 5. So that's 50. So 50 students in all do not wear glasses. So we tick that off. We go back to our information so that we can find out what should go in left-handed only. So 30% of the students who do not wear glasses are left-handed. This means we need to find 30% of 50. So we're going to start by doing 10% first. So 10% of 50, we know 50 divided by 10 is 5. I can find 30 by multiplying 5 times by 3. So 5 times 3 is 15. So those people who are left-handed but not glasses goes here. That's for 15. Amazing. One last step to go to complete the Venn diagram, and it's for those people who do not wear glasses and are not left-handed at all. So if the total students is 78, and we know some of these ones already, all we need to do is to add those and take away from the total. Beautiful. So we go ahead and we're going to do 21, so it's going to be 78 take away 21 plus the 7 plus the 15. Again, I will say set up in your column method. So 21, let's do it here, 21 plus 15 plus 7. Add them together. 7 plus 5 is 12 plus 1 is 13. We bring 1 over here, and that is going to be 2 plus 2 is 4, so that's 43. So we're doing 78 take away 43. Again, I'm going to write that down. 78 take away 43. So 8 take away 3 is 5, and 7 take away 4 is 3. So the answer for the outside, which is the complement of glasses and left-handed, which means those that are not in that set, is 35. Guys, what you need to do at this stage, just do a quick check and add them all up and see if you get 78. Once you get 78, you know you are on the right path. So I'm going to check my Venn diagram off. I have another simple question to answer for part B. So part B says a left-handed student is chosen at random. The word random indicates out of the total. Work out the probability that the student wears glasses. So first of all, I know I'm going to write 78 as my denominator because I know that's the total. Now it says work out the probability that the students wear glasses. So we're looking for glasses here, and we can see that there is 7 students here who will wear glasses. It says a left-handed student. Let me go back and just read that quickly. Let me erase just this bit here. So it says a left-handed student. So let me underline that, a left-handed student. So the total population for a left-handed student is 7 plus 15. 7 add 15 is 22. So a left-handed student is chosen at random. What's the probability they wear glasses? So only 7 students out of the left-handed students wear glasses. So that's 7 out of 22. We check to see if that can be simplified. It cannot be simplified any further. So the answer is 22. So this part was conditional probability. The condition was that they're left-handed. And how many out of that wear glasses? Now, if the question had said just randomly without focus on left-handed student, it would have been out of the total population. Absolutely brilliant. We now move on to vectors. Shown below are vectors B and C. We observe our diagram and we see our vectors B and we see C. We're asked to write down the column vector that represents B. And for part B, we're asked to write down the column vector that represents C. Now, whenever we are reading off our vectors, we do the same as when we are plotting our point on the Cartesian plane. We always focus on our x coordinate followed by the y coordinate. Now, when I am working on vectors, I must follow the direction of the arrow. I'm going towards the direction of the arrow. So I want to find out, how do I get from the bottom where I've started all the way to the top? And I need to do that in terms of x and y coordinate. So I can see here I'm going to go 1, 2 across on x, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on y. So the column vector is 2 for x, 6 for y. We do not use a fraction bar for vectors, just 2, 6. Okay, so remember, if I go right, it's positive, and if I go up, it's positive. However, if I have to go left, it's going to be negative, or if I have to go down, it's also going to be negative. So for C, we're going to also follow the direction of the arrow. So I want to go from the bottom here all the way to the top. The arrow is pointing that way. This time I notice I'm going to go to the left, which means X is going to be negative. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1 up. So it's minus 5 for X, but because I went up, it's positive 1 for Y. So minus 5, 1. Yes, it's that simple, but remember, follow the direction of the arrow. We go to the next question on vectors. We're given here, not a graph, we're given the column vector for A is 2, 1 and B is 1 minus 5. We're asked here to work out A plus B as a column vector. So we're going to add them together. So A is 2, 1. And I'm adding that to B, which is, so it's going to be plus the B one, which is 1 minus 5. So I'm just going to put them in a bracket by themselves, so it's clear to see. There's going to be 2 add 1, and I'm going to do 1 plus minus 5. Be careful with your negative. So 2 add 1 is 3, so I get 3 here. We can just put this here, so 3, so it's equal to 3. But 1 plus minus 5. This means that I owe someone 5 things, and I'm going to pay them 1. I will now owe 4. So the answer is 3 minus 4. And if you have to draw your number line to get this, please make sure you do. You can also look at it as who has more things. This one has more things. How much more? It's 4. What is the sign? Minus. Beautiful. We go to the next question. We are given that A is minus 7, 4. And B is minus 6, 10. We are asked to work out A minus B. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them in one column vector. So it is minus 7 minus 6. So this is A and this is B. So minus 7 minus, but what am I subtracting? Minus 6. Be careful. Now I also need to do 4 take away, I'm taking away 10. Now this is the part I need to focus on. Now remember, 2 negatives is going to give us a positive. So I can rewrite that as 7 minus will give me a plus 6. So these 2 negative give me a positive. And then I need to do 4 minus 10. So now let's get our final answer. Similarly to how we reasoned the first one, I owe 7, I will pay 6, I will owe 1. And then 4 take away 10, remember a small take away a large is a negative, so this will also be minus 6. I put that in my bracket, so minus 1 minus 6. All you have to do, just pay attention to the signs. Okay, so we move to the next question on column vectors. This time we're going to be doing a scale factor of each of the vectors. So we're given A to be 2, 0 and B to be 1, 5. We're asked to work out 4A plus 2B. So first of all, I'm going to do 4 times by A, and A is 2, 0. Then I'm going to do 2 times by B, and B is 1, 5. So let's go ahead and multiply. I have to do 4 times 2, which is 8, and also 4 times 0, which is 0. Then I need to do 2 times 1, which is 2, and 2 times 5 is 10. Then I need to add them together. So 8 plus 2 is 10. And 0 plus 10 is also 10. So the answer is 10, 10. Beautiful. 2 marks. We go along now. This question asks us to look at the diagrams on the centimeter square grid. It says work out the area of the shaded on each diagram. So the area that's shaded on each diagram. Very easy one. So this here we just need to count our units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that side is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So clearly this is a square. Area of the square is found by length times by the length, which is 4 centimeters, times by 4 centimeters, and that gives us 4 times 4 gives us 16. So the answer is 16 centimeter squared. Now we are given this triangle. We are asked to find its area. Now the area of a triangle, so let's write that down, area of triangle is equal to base times the height divided by 2. So we count the base, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we write 4 along. Just going to do that here. So that's 4 times by, the height is from the base to the top. So that's 1, 2. And then we need to half that. So 4 times 2 is 8, and half 8 is equal to 4. So the answer is 4. Now for the next shape, we're asked to find its area as well. Now a very easy way to look at this, if I split this across here, I'll recognize that it is the same area like the triangle that we were given at the top. And if the area of the triangle is 4, then the area of 2 triangles together is going to just simply be 4 times 2. So the answer for this one is 8. No need to work yourself up. How am I going to find the sides when it's slanted? No, you need to just simply make connections. So 2 times by the 4 we got for one of the triangle, which is the same dimension, will be equal to 8. Beautiful. We move right along. Now we are simplifying expressions. So we're asked to simplify fully 8m plus 4 minus 2m plus 7. Remember, we have to collect our like terms. So variable term with variable term and constant term with constant term. And by constants, I mean the numbers. So when you're rewriting this, write them in their pairs straight away, paying attention to the sign. So I've got 8m and I've got a minus 2m. I've got a positive 4 and also a positive 7. So 8m take away 2m is 6m, and 4 plus 7 is 11. So the answer is 8m and 11. 2 marks. Beautiful. Next question asks us to simplify a half c times by 6d. So this is multiplication. Now, easy way for me to do this is just to divide by 2, 6. So 2 into itself goes once, and 2 into 6 goes 3. Now all I need to do is to multiply all the numerators together. So 1c times by 3 is 3c, and then 3c times by d is just 3cd. Denominator here is 1, doesn't change anything, so the answer is just 3cd. Another way we could have done that is just to multiply across and then divide. So if I did a half c times by 6d, then 1c times by 6d is just 6cd, and then divide that by 2. It will still get me to half of 6 is 3cd. So whichever method you prefer, then you go for that one. Absolutely fantastic. We move on to solving equation. This one is a must-have. In everything we're doing, solving for angles, anything we're doing, we always come back to solving equations. Now, we are going to do the first one, which asks us to solve 3x plus 15, which is equal to 6. Remember, we always focus on the operation we have in the question, and we need to do the inverse. So H is for have, and D is for do. So I look at what I have. In this question, I have a positive 15. I then need to do the inverse, which is minus 15, to solve this problem. Also, here is a multiplication by 3. The inverse of that is division by 3. Remember, we always take care of the constant first. So let's rewrite the question. 3x add 15 is equal to 6. I need to go ahead and subtract 15 from both sides. Be careful here. This side cancels to 0. And then 3x is equal to, this is the part you must be careful about. We're doing 6 take away 15. Small take away large equal negative. So this is going to be negative 9. We check that off. We now need to divide both sides by 3. That's the inverse of multiplication. So dividing by 3, that cancels out, leaving us with x. Minus 9 divided by positive 3 is minus 3. And remember, guys, we can check that off to make sure it's true by substituting the value back into this. So 3 times by minus 3 gives us minus 9. And minus 9 add 15 is the same as 15 take away 9, which is 6. Quickly check that back on your paper and make sure you are correct. I'll only do one check here. You can do the rest of the check for yourself. So we go on to the next question that involves expansion of brackets. So the first step, we're asked to solve 6 bracket d minus 2, and that's equal to 18. I first have to expand my bracket. So 6 bracket d minus 2 is equal to 18. 6 times d is 6d. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12, and that's equal to 18. I write what I have in the question now and what I need to do. So I have got a minus 12. I need to add 12. Talk yourself through it. I have a multiplication by 6. I'm going to need to divide by 6. Beautiful. We take care of our 12 first. So I need to plus 12 to both sides. This will cancel out, leaving me with 6d equal to 18 add 12 is 30. And then I check that off. I now need to divide both sides by 6. So I will get for my answer that d, this cancels out, 30 divided by 6 is 5, so d is equal to 5. It's about that clear logical steps, guys. Once you employ that skill, you cannot be wrong. So let's go, team, let's go. Now, I'm asked here to solve 6x plus 10 equal 2x add 18 for 3 marks. Now I recognize here I've got 2 variable terms on either side. So it brings me back to collecting my like terms. So rewrite my question. 6x add 10 equal 2x plus 18. So I'm going to keep the larger coefficient of x where it is. So I'm going to bring the 2x on this side, and I'm going to bring the 10 here. So numbers are together, variables are also together. So remember, when I change sides, I will change signs. So 6x, this is now going to be minus 2x on the other side. I'm left here with 18. This positive 10 is going to be minus 10. Simplify. 6x take away 2x is 4x. 18 take away 10 is 8. This one is nice and simple. I just need to do the inverse of multiplying by 4, which is dividing by 4. So therefore, x is going to be, did you hear that? Therefore, x is going to be 8 divided by 4 is 2. Beautiful. And again, we can prove our answer as I've said before. Now at this time, you could pause the video and try the other one. And then when I work it out, you'll see that you've mastered this. Brilliant. So I'm going to rewrite 7w minus 1 equal to 4w plus 20. Again, I need to collect my like terms. So I'm going to bring my 4w here and my minus 1 there, which will be the reverse of what they currently are. So 7w, this is now going to be a minus 4w equal to 20. This minus 1 is now going to be a positive 1. So 7 take away 4 is 3. So that's 3w equal to 20 add 1 is 21. I now need to just divide both sides by 3. So W therefore is equal to 21 divided by 3 is 7. How beautiful. And this is how I want you to navigate your question, by just that clear, logical step. One step at a time, get you to the right destination safely. Beautiful. So we are proceeding. Now we're going to look at sharing ratios. Now we start off with Sophie. Sophie has 60 pencils. The ratio of the sharpened pencils, so underline 60, sharpened pencil to blunt pencils is 4:1. I visualize this out of the words. I'm going to put S for sharpened, B for blunt, and the ratio is 4:1. Remember, guys? Very important that we put them in the order that the words are mentioned. So sharpened came first, so the ratio that comes first matches with sharpened. Awesome. Now it says, how many sharpened pencils does Sophie have? So the ratio of sharpened pencil to blunt pencil is 4:1. That's now my key to break through to this question, because I know the total, I know the ratio parts. What I need to do is to find out what one part is worth. I do that by finding the total. So 4 add 1 is equal to 5. So I know the total is 60. I now need to find one part by doing 60 divided by 5. Timetables of essence here. 60 divided by 5 is equal to 12. So I know that one part is worth 12. So now I can find out how many sharpened pencils she has by multiplying my 4. So how do I get from 1 to 12? I multiply by 12. I also need to do 4 times by 12, and 4 times 12 is 48. You could also have done 60, take away the 12 here, and that will still give you 48. But we must end intelligently. I now need to say Sophie has 48 sharpened pencils. Fantastic. Now, the next question asks us to divide 700 in the ratio 5:3:2. So just like we did before, we need to find the total and then find one part. So the total parts will be 5 plus 3 plus 2. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. So one part will be equal to the total, which is 700 pounds, divided by 10. Very nice and simple one there, dividing by 10. So that's 70 for one part. So therefore, I need to find 5 parts. So 5 parts will be equal to 5 times 70. Now I know 5 times 7 is 35. So that means 5 times 70 has to be 350. Now I need to find 3 parts. So 3 parts will be equal to 3 times 70. So 3 times 7 is 21. So that I get 210. Then I need to do 2 parts. So 2 parts will be equal to 2 times by 70, which is 140, since 2 times 7 is 14. Now guys, the answer is 350 to 2, so let's write it down and then we'll check. So it's 350 pounds to 210 pounds to 140 pounds. But a beautiful opportunity to check here and see if we get the correct total. So let's just quickly check it. So 0 here, 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 1, 10. And then 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7. Back to 700 pounds. Yes, this is how we know for sure we didn't make a mistake. I feel so proud of you for getting this far in the video. You are absolutely amazing. Now we go to ratios. So ratios in the form n to 1. We're asked here to write the ratio 6 to 2 in the form n to 1. Now, we want our 1 to be on this side. So let's write our ratio back here, 6 to 2. So I want this side, the right-hand side of my ratio, to be equal to 1. Therefore, I need to divide all of the ratio by 2, since 2 divided by 2 gets me to 1. So, answer therefore is 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the answer is 3 to 1. So wherever you want your 1 to be, that's the number you need to divide by. So let's just look quickly. What if I wanted my 1 to be, what if I wanted 1 to n instead of n to 1? And I still have that same 6 to 2, I would have to divide both sides by 6. So now it would be 6 divided by 6 is 1. And then I can simplify this here to 1/3. So that would be my answer there. Okay? So pay attention to where the 1 is and you divide by the number that's on that side. We go to another question that also integrates indices. So this one asks us to write the ratios below in the form n to 1 as well. Now, we know BIDMAS will tell us to take care of our brackets first. So remember, the laws of indices indicate, let me just rewrite the question. Laws of indices says when I am multiplying indices and the base is the same, I need to add the powers. So I need to do 4 add 3. So this is 2 to the power of 7. So 2 to the power of 7 to 2 to the power of 5. Again, I want my 1 to be on the right hand side. So I need to divide both sides by 2 to the power of 5. Let's do that. So dividing 2 to the power of 5 by itself will give me 1 on the right hand side. Remember now, when we are dividing indices, we subtract the powers. So 7 take away 5 is 2. So the answer will be 2 to the power of 2. But I need to work this out. So 2 to the power of 2 means 2 times by 2, which is 4. So the answer is 4 to 1. I will suggest that you watch this over again so that it comes home clearer to you. And also, you could try the next one for yourself, then play the video. That's how you check if you're actually grasping what is being said. So same principle apply here. 6 to the power of 3 times by 6 to the power of 4, and that's to the ratio 6 to 5. Again, I need to add the powers. So it'll be 6 to the power of 3 plus 4, which is 7, and that is 6 to the power of 5. Again, I'm going to get my 1 on this side, so I'm going to divide by 6 to the power of 5 on both sides. So I know that my right hand side, this one cancels out to 1, and then I need to subtract. So 7 take away 5 is 2, so 6 to the power of 2, I need to do 6 times by 6. Remember, square means to times the number by itself. So 6 times by 6 is 36. And that 36 will be to the ratio 1 part here. So that's our final answer. Go back through this again until you have mastered it. Very important here. Absolutely fantastic. All the students at the school were asked if they wanted a new school uniform. Here is some information about their responses. So yes is 36%, no, we're not sure how many yet, and unsure is 17%. We're asked to say what percentage of students said no. So, and that is for 1 mark. So we know, first of all, that percentage is out of 100. So therefore, all we need to do here to find the number of students who said no is to add the yes and the unsure and then subtract from the total. So I'm just going to write 100%. I'm going to need to take away the sum of 36 plus 17. So we're going to go ahead, set up our column method, and then add them together. So 6 plus 7 is 13. So 3, and we put 1 here. 3 plus 1 plus 1, that's 5, so that's 53. So now I need to do 100% take away 53. I'm going to set that up again. So I'm going to do 100 take away 53. And then I'm going to take 1 from here, leaving me with 9. So 10 take away 3 is 7, and 9 take away 5 is 4. So the answer is 47%. Beautiful. Now the second part of that question says 600 students attend the school. Work out how many students said yes. So we know yes is 36. So we want to find out what is 36% of 600. Now, non-calculator paper, we've got to break this down in increments of 10 and 1. So I'm going to find 10%. So 10% is 600. Remember, we divide by 10 when we want to find 10%. So 10% is going to be 60. Now I can find 30% by doing that 60 times by 3, since 10 times by 3 is 30. So 6 times 3 is 18, which means 60 times 3 has to be 180. We're going to put an asterisk there so that we get a focus as to what we need to add together at the end. So now I've finished with my 30. I need to get my 6%. So my reference point is 1%. Remember, we get 1% by dividing by 100. So 600 divided by 100 is 6. So 6% then would need to be multiplied by 6 here from 1 to 6. I need to then do 6 times by 6 to get 6 lots of 6, which gives me 36 asterisk. Now the total, let's put the total here, will now be 180, which we got here, add to the 36. So the answers, we get 6 in this column. 8 plus 3 is 11. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So it's 216 said yes. Again, we answer intelligently. Beautiful. Now we move along. So this question is also on percentages. It says a gym has 2,500 members. 70%, so underline, 70% of the gym's members visited the gym last month. How many members visited the gym? So we want to find 70% of 2,500. Nice one, because we just need to make our reference point here of 10% and then scale that up to 70. So 10% is equal to 2,500 divided by 10. So that gets us to 250. Now for error, make sure that you're error free. You could set it up like this and divide by 10, then you'll see cancelling off the 0, you have 250 left. I now need to scale this up to 70. So times by 7, 10 times 7 gets me 70, so I need to do 250 times 7 as well. I'm going to set this up on my column method. So let's go. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 5 is 35. I need to bring 3 to the other column. 7 times 2 is 14. Add 3. So 14 add 3 is 17. So the answer is 1,750 members visited the gym. See how I always answer intelligently? Because I was asked a specific question, I need to give a specific answer as well. Beautiful. On we go. Now we're going to look at calculating with fractions. So we're asked here to work out as a simplified fraction 3/4 plus 2/9. So we know that when it comes to the addition or subtraction of fractions, we've got to ensure that the denominators are the same. So I'm just going to rewrite my question like I normally do to get my working different from the question. So I need to find the lowest common multiple, so the LCM of 4 and 9. So that is 36. Okay, so I need to convert my denominators to 36. So that means I need to times this by 9. I also do the numerator. And I need to times this one by 4. I also do the numerator. So 9 times 3 is 27. And I know my denominator is 36. 4 times 9 is 36. 2 times 4 is 8, denominator 36. Guys, you can see here on your non-calculator paper, your ability to do your timetables is of essence. You have got to make sure you know your timetables. Now, I just need to add these two together. So 27 plus 8 gives me 35. And again, if you've got to set up your column method to do that, then you need to make sure you do. I check here just to see, is there anything that can be simplified? 35, 36, nothing to simplify. That's my final answer. Beautiful. So now I'm going to go on to the next question. So the next question asks me to work out 13/24 take away 1/4. So that gets me to thinking about my lowest common multiple. Absolutely brilliant. So this one, lowest common multiple, I've got 24 and I've got 4, which means 24 is the lowest common multiple since 4 can also go into 24. So it's 24. I'm going to rewrite my question now. So 13/24 take away 1/4. I just need to scale 1/4 up. So I need to multiply that by 6 to get to 24. So 13/24 take away 1 times 6 is 6, 6/24. So 13 take away 6 is equal to 7. So the answer is 7/24. Cannot be simplified any further. Brilliant. Next one is multiplication. So work out 4/5 times by 9/10 and give your answer as a simplified in its simplest form. So we go 4/5 times by 9/10. Now I'm going to look for an opportunity to simplify to make it smaller when I multiply numerators together and when I multiply my denominators together. So I can see here 2 can go into 4 twice and 2 can go into 10 5 times. Now it's easier to multiply. 2 times 9 is 18 and 5 times 5 is 25. I cannot simplify any further because there is no factor that's common between an even number and an odd number. So my answer is 18/25. Beautiful. Last question on calculating fractions. Work out 2/3 divided by 8/11. This is where I always say, where students love to tell you those 3 letters. Keep, change, flip, KCF. It's not KFC, guys. So give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. So we know we keep the first fraction as it is. We change the division to multiplication and we invert the other fraction, which you guys love to say, flip. Now I'm going to look for opportunities to simplify. So I see here 2 can go into itself once and 2 into 8 goes 4 times. Now I just need to multiply my numerators. 1 times 11 is 11, and 3 times 4 is 12, so the answer is 11/12. Brilliant. Now we go to percentage again, but we've got some diagrams that we are going to be working on. So the first question says shade 10% of this grid. Now, in order for me to know what 10% or how many squares is 10%, I need to find the total of this grid. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 4 times 5 is 20. So I need to find 10% of 20. So 10% of 20 is equal to 2. So that's 20 divided by 10. So 20 divided by 10 is 2. So I just need to shade 2 of these. It really doesn't matter where on the grid you shade once you've shaded 2 parts. So we tick that off. We move to the next question. This time it's the other way around. It says what percentage of this shape is shaded. So again, I need to get my total. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 across and 1, 2, 3 down. So 3 times by 4 is 12. So I've got 2 parts shaded out of 12. I need to now multiply that by 100 to convert it to a percentage. Remember, to convert a fraction to a percentage, we must multiply by 100. So let's go. We'll again look for opportunities to simplify. I can see here I could do 2 into itself goes once and 2 into 12 goes 6. So let's keep that just now. So 100, if we multiply across, divided by 6. It's so much easier to simplify again by halving both of them. So half of 100 is 50 and half of 6 is 3. Now I need to divide this to get my final answer. So let's do bus stop. So 50 divided by 3. So 3 into 5 goes once, remainder is 2. 3 into 20 goes 6. 6 times 3 is 18. And then I will have 2 remainders left. 3 into 2, so we can't do that. Put a point, add a 0. We can see this is going to go on for infinity. Yes, it is a recurring decimal. So I can put a dot here to show that that's recurring. And then, or I can write down my final answer to 1 decimal place. Remember, if we keep going, this will be 66666. So if I round it to 1 decimal place, I can write my answer approximately 16.7%. Sometimes you're asked to say, what do they want you to round it to? If not, you're free to round to whatever. Just make sure you check the digit behind the first decimal place and round up or down as the need arises. Final question on the percentage section. What percentage of this shape is shaded? So we need to count the total. So we can see 4 parts on the top, 4 on the bottom. So that is 8 for the denominator. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts shaded. Now I just need to multiply that by 100. So we can put 100 over 1 if that makes you happy. Now we can divide again, simplify. I can see here that 2 can go into 8 4 times, and I can also half 100 to give me 50. I can also, let's just multiply across. So 5 times 5 is 25, which means 5 times 50 is 250. Now we need to divide that by 4. Bus stop. So let's get our 250 here and our 4 here. So how many 4s are in 25? So if I multiply 4 times by 4, that's 16. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I can go one more time. So 4 times 6 is 24. 6 times 4 is 24. Remainder is 1. So 4 into 10 goes twice. 4 times 2 is 8. Remainder is going to be 2. 4 into 2, I can't do that. So put a point, add a 0. 4 into 20 goes 5. So the answer to this question is 62.5%. I will just put that here. So the answer is 62.5%. Absolutely fantastic there. Yes, it's okay to have decimal percentages as well. Amazing. Now guys, we go on to exact trig values, a topic that lots of students don't like. However guys, I'm going to show you the triangles you need to know in order to answer any question on exact trig values. And then we're going to do a few questions where we are asked to find a missing side or a missing angle. And then we will bring this revision to a close. Beautiful. Now, we're asked to write down the value of sine 30. Now, I need you to draw this triangle out. So we've got two triangles that we're going to use. This triangle here gives us the 45. So cos 45, sine 45, tan 45. The other triangle here will give us our 30 degrees and our 60 degrees. So you need to remember your triangles. This one, it has 90-degree angle. It's a right angle triangle. 45, 45, 1, 1, root 2. Try to remember those triangles. The next one gives us 30, 60. This one clearly is our right angle. It has root 2, 1, and the hypotenuse is 2. Once you remember this, two triangles here, you can find any one of the 45, the 60, and the 30 you need. So let's go. The first question asks us to write down the value of sine 30, which means I need to use the triangle with 30. I know sine is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. Remember, let's just write them here. So, SOHCAHTOA. So, SOHCAHTOA. I just want to pause here to let you know I've got a full lesson on trigonometry, SOHCAHTOA. Guys, you need to watch that lesson and work through the questions along with me so that you can smash those trigonometry questions if they come on your exam. So, as I said, OH, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So we go to 30 and we identify the opposite. So the opposite here is 1. So that's going to be 1 over the hypotenuse, longest side is 2. So therefore, sine 30 is simply a half. See, once you know the triangles, you can get it. So let's do that again. We go to 30. We know sine is opposite. So opposite to 30 is 1. And the hypotenuse is 2. So sine 30 is 1 over 2, which is properly said to be a half. Beautiful. Now, for your zeros, easiest way to remember cos 0 is to think about it this way. Cos 0 is 1. Now, if you think of the other two as zeros as well, you can just remember 100 in your mind. 1, 0, 0. Cos is at the top. It's 1. The other two are 0. So cos 0 is 1. So you just need to remember these here. Now for the next bit, we're asked to write tan 45. So we know we've got to go to the triangle that has the 45s. So I know that tan is equal to, it's TOA, so OA. So opposite over adjacent. So it doesn't matter which one of the 45s you use, the answer will still be the same. So let's go. Let's get the opposite side. So from this 45, the opposite is 1. So we write 1 over. The adjacent side is 1 as well. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. So tan 45 is 1. See? Very simple. You know your ratios, you know how to identify your sides. Once you know these triangles, just learn the triangles, just go to the angle, find O over A, or whatever it is that they've asked you to do. Now we go to write down the value of sine 60. So we know we have to use the triangle with the 60 degrees. So again, we write that sine is equal to, the sine of an angle is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. So I go to 60. My opposite side from 60 is root 3. So that's root 3. And the hypotenuse is 2. So opposite is root 3. The hypotenuse is 2. So the answer is root 3 over 2. That's the exact value. Then we go for cos 30. So I need to remind myself that cos is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So I go to my 30 degrees and I'm looking for the adjacent. The adjacent is root 3. So that is root 3. And the hypotenuse is 2. I can see here now, so the answer is root 3 over 2. So I can see that sine 60 is the same value as cos 30. They're both root 3 over 2. You need to just learn the triangles and then practice this, and then that will be you. Brilliant. Awesome. So we go along. So make sure you write this table here. Do you know the cos 0 is 1, and then the other two, sine and tan 0, are 0. So think about 100, starting with cos. Now, we're going to do some questions and then we wrap this up. Now, on a non-calculator paper, you will have to use the exact trig values because you don't have a calculator to calculate an unknown side or angle. So let's look at this question, and I've put the triangles back here to help you navigate it. So it says use trigonometry to work out the value of x. Now, whenever we are going to find an unknown side of a right angle triangle that has an angle, we know we are using SOHCAHTOA. Now, we are going to know which one to use based on the sides that we have in reference to the angle. I always stand at the angle when I'm going to label. Facing the angle is my opposite side, so x is the opposite. Facing the right angle, the longest side, is my hypotenuse. So for this question, I'm going to be using OH, which is sine. So SOHCAHTOA. That was a funny one there. All right, so sine, let's set up now. Sine 30 is what we're given, is equal to my opposite. I'm just going to write it first and then substitute over the hypotenuse. So let's substitute now. Sine 30 is equal to the opposite, which is x, over the hypotenuse, which is 8. Now, I've put the triangles back in just to help you navigate this until you've learnt them. So we've done sine 30 on the other side, but let's go back to the triangle and practice this. So I know I have to use the triangle with the 30. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So instead of sine 30, I'm now going to write a half. So opposite over hypotenuse. So 1/2. So we make that equal. So I've replaced this sine 30 with a half, and that's equal to x over 8. I just need to work this out now. So I need to cross multiply. 2 times x is 2x, and that's equal to 1 times 8, which is 8. Now I need to divide by 2, and then x is equal to 4, and the unit is centimeters. Guys, that's how you find an unknown side on a non-calculator paper using your trig ratios and also your knowledge of the exact trig values. Now we're going to do this question, and then we've got just 2 more, and then we are ready to wrap this up. Beautiful. I'm so happy that you've stayed with me, guys, because you know I really desire for you to do well. So use trigonometry to work out the value of x. So again, we're going to rely on our skills of using our exact trig values and our SOHCAHTOA. So we're given the triangle here, we've got 30 degrees. We know we always start from the angle as our reference point. So we're going to label. So across from 30, opposite to 30 is root 3. So that's our opposite side. And our hypotenuse ruled out, so clearly this side x is our adjacent. So again, OA, TOA, we are using the tan ratio. So we're going to go ahead and write that tan 30 is equal to the opposite, which is root 3 over x. So we need to find out what is tan 30, so let's get our triangles up. So we go to 30 and we know tan is opposite over the adjacent. So tan 30 is 1 over root 3. And that's equal to root 3 over x. So again, we're going to cross multiply. So 1 times x is equal to x. And we need to now do root 3 times root 3. I'm just going to write that out. Root 3 times root 3. Root 3 times root 3 is equal to root 9, and the square root of 9 is 3, since 3 times 3 makes 9. So the answer then is 3. I'm just going to go ahead and say 3 units, since they didn't give us any centimeters or whatever to work with. Final question, guys. Yes, you've made it to the end of the revision session. And who's proud of you? I am so proud of you. So we're asked to use trigonometry to work out the size of angle x. First time we're doing an angle. Same principle apply. So I'm going to go and I'm going to stand at x as my reference point. So across from x, opposite to x, is root 3, which is the opposite side. Hypotenuse ruled out. So this side where the 1 is adjacent. So clearly I'm using tan again. So tan x this time, I don't know the angle. So tan x is equal to the opposite side is root 3 over the adjacent side is 1. So I need to find out what is the angle. So what I need to do is to go to the triangle. I've got root 3 over 1. I'm going to go to the triangle to find out which two sides, from which angle will I get root 3 over 1. So if I go here, root 3 is the opposite. Remember, it's tan. So root 3 is the opposite and the adjacent is 1. So that means the angle is 60. Tan 60. So let's write tan 60 is what gets us root 3 over 1. So we'll go again. Opposite is root 3, which we've got here. The adjacent is 1. So it's tan 60 that gets us that. So therefore, x has to be equal to 60 degrees. That's how you find the angle using exact trig values. Absolutely brilliant, guys. Well done again for getting this far in the video. And we are about to wrap up this session. Now, guys, it's very important that you ensure that you have subscribed, and not only subscribed, but also hit the notification bell and press all. When you do that, when I upload part 2 of the revision session for paper 2, you will be notified. And also just a reminder that we are on TikTok, and over on TikTok, I'm also doing additional revision exam questions for the year 10s who are going on to their mocks. So you've got to make sure that you get onto TikTok as well. And please go through the questions in the profile. I've uploaded some questions ages ago, and those questions are also very relevant. Once you do the TikTok version, the YouTube revision, you will be ready for those exams. I wish you all the very best. And guys, thank you so much for watching.